You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. It would be sort of inappropriate if I didn't at least talk about the game that took place on Saturday. And I understand where all of the emotion for LSU fans has been for the last 6 weeks. It has not been with playing out the string on a mostly lost season where you were just kind of hoping to get to bowl eligibility. But Saturday's win over Texas A&M was significant. You hear me say it often, and I'll reiterate it now. I believe very much in a hierarchy. I believe every league has its haves and its have-nots. Doormats need to be doormats. That's not to say in a given year, Ole Miss or Mississippi State or Arkansas couldn't have a great year, rise up and beat LSU in a one-off. That happens. But those schools will never consistently compete to win the SEC because they just don't have the resources like LSU or Auburn or Alabama or Texas A&M. And that is why A&M is relevant. Not because they've done anything or won anything, because to this point they haven't. But when you have the resources that Texas A&M has, when they're one of the 10 richest schools in the country, when they have dozens of people that could write checks that could pay for an entire stadium remodel in a day, they matter because they have all of the resources and the commitment to win. They have the money and the commitment to spend the money to win. On coaches, on staff, support staff, personnel, recruiting, facilities, all of it. And if they ever figure it out, they are a threat. That's why it matters. And it's why beating Texas A&M on Saturday was a big deal. Not because it got you to 500 so you can go to a crappy bowl game. Not to send Ed Orgeron out with a win because it's a feel good in your belly. But because even in a year where you were not good, where your season was marred with injuries and opt-outs and a lame duck coach and all of that junk, half-empty stadium, all of that. Even in that year, when they were supposed to be a contender this year, when they beat Alabama this year, you beat them in your own building to drop them to 8-4 in what was supposed to be a special year for them. Even in your down year, they couldn't come into your building and win. A&M has not won in Baton Rouge since they entered the SEC. They won in Baton Rouge since '94 when LSU was playing the annual rivalry with Texas A&M before they came into the SEC. So, yes, Saturday's result is significant because it continues to show that the hierarchy is in place and LSU is firmly ahead still of Texas A&M. Some takeaways from the game itself. LSU went out there clearly laying it on the line. In the first possession of the game, LSU had a 4th and 1. They went for it. Ty Davis-Price converted. They would end up making a 50-yard field goal. Ed was out there laying it out because he had nothing to lose. They went for on fourth down twice in the game, on the first possession and on the last possession. They converted the 4th and 1, and then they converted a 4th and 7 on the final possession where Jack Besh converted, and then, of course, LSU would go to score the game-winning touchdown. The sequence before halftime, where A&M was using its timeouts to preserve time to try to get the ball back. Instead, it ultimately gave LSU enough time to score before half to take a 17-7 lead. Beautiful catch and run by Trey Palmer as LSU was kind of feeling its way through that drive to see if they'd have an opportunity. LSU did in this game what they've done in many games. They had a good plan to start. They started well, and then they started to falter when the opponent started to counterpunch. Isaiah Spiller got going a little bit. The LSU defense was very obviously worn out. There was one drive in the second half when A-Chain was the end of the drive that ended the third quarter and started the fourth quarter for A&M, when A-Chain kind of took over and he had like 65 yards on that drive where A&M scored to go ahead 20-17. And that's when you kind of felt like it was coming apart for LSU, but they got the stop they needed. They forced a 3-and-out, got the ball back with a minute and 58 seconds at their own 15-yard line, and Max Johnson put together a drive that a lot of us will talk about for a long time. Congrats to LSU on the win. Congrats on reaching bowl eligibility. Great day for Jaray Jenkins on his senior day to have his career day. 8 catches, 169, and 2 scores. Damone Clark, like we talked about, had another double-digit tackle day. So for the season, Damone Clark, now with the bowl game still to play, finishes with 136 tackles. That's 2 more than Kyle Hamilton of San Jose State. So Damone Clark finishes the regular season with the most tackles in college football. He should be an All-American. He should win the Butkus Award. I don't know that he will because the team is 6-6, and there just hasn't been a lot of attention given this team. But he has been awesome, and I congratulate him and all the seniors that were able to go out with a win, and Ed Orgeron going out with a win on his final game in Tiger Stadium. So all in all, a lot of positives to take away from Saturday, because anytime you can keep your thumb on A&M, it matters for the reason we talked about. Not because of the 7 overtime thing or the stupid cups or any of that crap, but things that legitimately matter when you're talking about recruiting battles and going head-to-head with this team and continuing to establish yourself in the hierarchy. So it was significant that LSU got that win on Saturday, and now we'll wait and see what the bowl destination might be for LSU having reached 500 bowl eligibility. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.